Hello, this is RJ Wellington. With this video, I will begin another series called Metaphysical Pearls. Our last series was the Indigo Manifesto, and I hope you have enjoyed it. In this chapter, if you will, I will share the very basic but extremely important structure of real transformation. I will kind of reverse engineer the transformation process as you think you know it and explain how you can truly see a changed reality. Very quickly, by the way. Why? To master anything, you must first understand it, correct? The same rule applies to your so-called reality, to your life, and how to transform it. Most people come to someone like me, obviously, with one desire in mind, to learn how to change their realities. And that is the first myth I help them overcome. Some people get really surprised when I say, you don't change reality at all, ever. You never did, you never will. And oh, they say, so what about all the self-help, New Age, and even spiritual teachings that say that I have the power to change my reality into something better? Are you changing or challenging millennia of teachings? And I say, no, I'm not changing or challenging anything. I'm teaching my students and I'm sharing with you the pure metaphysical science as it is taught by true masters, by secret societies, and even some so-called extraterrestrial entities. So the truth is, reality does not change first. It never did. It never will. People's biggest frustration due to lack of results comes from trying to do things in the wrong order or going against the correct flow of universal laws. Please realize once and for all that you will never change your reality as you know it now. Why? Because it will always be there as a parallel alternative. It has always been. And any existing parallel reality, which is already there, just reflects your conscious or unconscious, usually both, inner changes. That is what reality is all about anyway, like a blank canvas that reflects the image being projected by consciousness, your consciousness. Change the film, and the canvas will reflect it automatically, with no effort whatsoever required out there to change something out there. That is a battle that you will never win, by the way. So give that up, give that false concept up. All realities exist only in consciousness, nowhere else, period. There is no out there to be changed or transformed. And when I say all, I mean all the infinite possibilities and probabilities that will ever exist. That's what infinity means, by the way. So, as you change internally, which is the same as saying in consciousness, you slip into a totally different reality that already exists, pretty much like jumping from a room to another. For example, the former room will still be there. It will never disappear, but it will not limit you anymore once you move to the next room, which, by the way, has also always been there in that place, waiting for you to recognize it. When my students realize this truth, they get their first piece of enlightenment. They realize the trap the apparent endless loop that they have been facing up to that point. They awaken to the truth that they have been trying to change a room, metaphorically speaking, instead of changing themselves, their perspective, by walking into another room. And they eventually get out of that loop. Now, of course, if you don't have the right knowledge, it may take you months, years, or even lifetimes to get out of the so-called stuck reality loop you perceive now. Who sets the pace? You do. Nobody else do. And why? Because you believe you have to change something into another thing, and you keep on hitting a brick wall. That's all. I usually say that if you have a cat, for example, and you want to have a dog, you may pray for eternity and you will never, ever change a cat into a dog. It sounds silly, right? To think that someone would try to do something like that. Who would try that, you may ask? Yeah, it is silly. But the millions of law of attraction and self-help enthusiasts are making that silly mistake at this moment as I speak, maybe including you. Make sense? What I call the threshold is that moment when you are on the verge of seeing a supposed change in your reality, but you are still seeing the echo, pay attention, of the so-called old reality. It is a transition phase, which can push you into more expansion or keep you in the loop, the endless loop. It all will depend on your attitude, on that precious, magic moment. Most self-help, law of attraction, and pseudo-metaphysical teachings lead you up to that threshold point. And you can really use any permission slip, or what you call a process, to get to that threshold point, such as affirmations, visualization, chants, hypnosis, etc. They all work in some way or another to set the pace for transformation. But, and that is a big but, at that moment, in the threshold point, is when you need to polarize yourself on the other parallel reality, the other room you would rather be experiencing, not creating, not manifesting, not attracting. The key word here is experiencing. So, the mechanics goes somehow like this. First, you set a goal. You have an intention, a goal in mind, something that you want to accomplish, no matter what. Then, you use any placebo or permission slip to charge or give energy to that goal. Again, what you call a process. At this point, reality has not changed yet, right? Why? Because you haven't changed completely yet. And that is where most people, those who get frustrated, will get stuck. Then, what do? They get anxious, they doubt themselves, and desperately go back online searching for videos to explain why they are stuck. They pay for expensive workshops or retreats to find out why they are stuck, and to hopefully find a crutch or a salvation board. Again, that loop may take a long time to break free from. Probably you are in it right now. You might have been on it for years, right? Why? Because you are literally living, seeing yourself as a poor thing, a poor me, a person with a problem, a slave, in the hope, pay attention to this, in the hope of one day reaching that utopic state of enlightenment. Now, back to the mechanics of reality, transformation or creation, whatever you want to call it. You set a goal, you use any placebo or permission slip to charge that goal. Whatever process you want to use. You check out your external reality to see if the processes you are using are working or not. Since reality hasn't changed a bit yet, your goal doesn't seem any closer, you decide it is not working. And again, like a desperate monkey jumping from tree to tree in order to escape the tiger, you jump to yet another book, another guru, another hype talk show celebrity, or New York Times best-selling author who holds the ultimate formula, etc. ad infinitum. People keep on repeating this over and over again, and they go for 20, 30, 40, 50 years of so-called metaphysical, new age, or self-help teaching, and they don't have anything to show for. Does that make sense? Does it resonate with you? It does to most people on this confused path. So, what is really the problem? I will tell you what the problem is, plain and clearly. Hopefully you get it now. You are expecting the external, which is an illusion, a reflection, to change first. You are looking at the wrong place to measure your progress. You are still sourcing from what is to decide if you have progressed or not. And the irony, the big irony is, when you use any placebo, you are progressing. But you seem at the point of making the decision that you are progressing. I will explain. You have to look for the inner, internal changes first, because they precede the outer changes. And by inner changes, I mean the way you react to circumstances and people from the new position. The process is, or should be, a full immersion experience. Now, I will tell you how the mechanics work when my students apply the transformation dynamic processes, which paradoxically are designed to eliminate the need for processes. So, step 1. You set a goal, an intention, whatever you want. Step 2. You use the transformation dynamics processes or permission slips to charge that goal. Step 3. You check out your internal reality, not the external reality or the mirror, to see if the processes you are using are working or not. And how to know that the processes are working. That takes us to step 4. You realize that your reactions are not the same as the reactions of the old self. Then step 5. You feel a little better about yourself and your progress, no matter how small it seems at first. For example, if you used to get upset at someone in your workplace, now, from the new perspective of a new parallel reality, that person doesn't bother you anymore. Or if you used to worry about your financial situation, you start worrying less and less about it, not feeling poverty anymore. You still, at this point, may not know how things will change, but you just trust that the processes are doing it for you. And then you relax into knowing that your reality is becoming better and better each moment. At this point, if you want, the meta-affirmation or Maha Mantra, an essential transformation dynamic process that I share freely, comes very handy. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go to my website www.truemetaphysics.com to get the free course I provide. And back to the steps. Finally, step 6. Once your inner feelings regarding the issue, or what you call a problem, and your reactions to the mirror change, then, and only then, the projection starts to change, based on your new point of view. Your reactions and positive feelings generated from the new, more resourceful reactions that you have. So you see, reality is the very last thing to appear to change, but it actually never changed. You changed the perspectives. You jumped into a parallel reality in which your goal has always been. You didn't create anything. You didn't manifest anything. You didn't attract anything. You just jump into a different reality. But that reality must be compatible with your reactions, with your feelings, with your internal states in general. As my students know, I walk my talk. I'm a living example of all the principles I share. That is my lifestyle. I have no choice. When someone asks me, how am I doing? I say, great as always. I have no other choice. So I will give you an example of this magical formula I just exposed. It is a real experience that I had this same week I'm recording this audio. A few days ago. Pay attention, please. I placed an order on Amazon for a $40 product that I wanted delivered fast. I have a Prime service, and the delivery was scheduled for the next day, on a Wednesday. On that day, around 10 a.m., I got a notification on my cell phone saying that the product had been delivered. Alright, so when I and my wife got home, we looked for it in our mailbox and in front of our apartment door, where they are usually dropped. There was nothing there. Then I checked the Amazon website and saw that the delivery was confirmed. But the tracking said that Amazon used a third-party private delivery service that hires anybody to deliver the packages, pretty much like Uber hires anyone who has a car. The tracking also said that the delivery person dropped the package in the mail room, but we have no such a thing as a secure mail room in my building, but an open area in the lobby close to the locked mailboxes, where sometimes mail services drop boxes that don't fit into our small mailboxes. These deliveries, however, are available for anyone to see, and if they are dishonest enough to steal. We live in a very good neighborhood, a safe building, but as in any building, strangers, non-tenants, can come in to deliver food or to do any job in an apartment. I don't want to believe that a fellow tenant stole our package. So, our hypothesis is that someone stole our package that day because of the delivery person's mistake of leaving it there instead of in front of our apartment door. That's it. We lost the package. Bottom line. Now is when the right state of consciousness comes in. The point I want to make telling you this story. I did not panic at all. I did not get angry. I kept my focus on the fact that everything in the universe conspires to my growth, happiness, and power. No exceptions. That same evening, I calmly sent a message both to the carrier service and the seller explaining the issue I had. The seller then responded within 2 hours, saying that they apologized for the inconvenience and they had no control over which delivery service Amazon chooses, but they say they would resend the product to me. Okay, so far so good, right? This was on a Wednesday. On Friday, a package was in our door with the product. This is great, right? The seller trusted me, even though it was the very first time I was ordering from him. Now, the interesting fact comes in. The seller sent me 2 bottles of the product instead of 1, as we had originally ordered. 2 bottles. Did you hear that? And this is a very simple example of what happens in my life and in many of my students' lives constantly. Why? Remember step 6? I will remind you of that. Step 6. Once your inner feelings regarding the issue, or what you call a problem, and your reactions to the mirror change, then and only then the projection starts to change based on your new point of view, reactions and positive feelings generated from those more resourceful reactions. When I realized that the original pack was stolen, instead of freaking out as most people would, I chose my feelings and reactions. I kept cool. I asked how my perfect self would react. And the perfect self process, by the way, that I teach my students is an amazingly quick way to jump into a parallel reality. The quickest way I know so far. If in the future I know something quicker, I will definitely teach to my personal students. This is not something that I put out in public, it's only for my students. But the bottom line here is this. I instantly switched into a parallel reality in which I had the product, period. I did not admit or accept anything different in my reality. And what happened? You might have had that experience before and you know how it goes, right? But for me, instead of waiting days or weeks for investigation, going through a lot of bureaucracy, and risking losing my money for lack of a proof that my product had been stolen, I received 2 bottles 2 days later. The seller trusted me completely and gave me a free extra bottle. He didn't have to do that, but he did, just because I knew this situation, as every other situation in my life, would turn into another opportunity to use universal laws to transform my reality by first transforming my consciousness. It is amazing, isn't it? This is 4th dimensional living, by the way, as I have taught before in another video. The way I and my students live every single moment of time, even when sleeping. And this is a very simple example of quantum jumping, through having new reactions and feelings to an issue, to a reflection that you call reality. Eventually, this process or this way of living becomes automatic for us. And what most of you would call miracles or even the impossible becomes more and more common. So, back to the core message of this video. I did not wait for my reality to change. I changed into someone who reacted and felt as if I already had the product in my hands in the easiest, quickest, and most effortless way possible, out of the infinite possibilities of an outcome. And when I do that, which is always, and that's why I'm a master, by the way, I tell you, the mirror, the canvas, whatever you wish to call it, has no choice but to reflect my choice, even if it seems impossible. And even if impossible things have to happen to reflect my inner state. This is mastery. Everything else is a construct in the matrix to keep you stuck. Now, are you beginning to understand why we call reality an illusion? Make sense? So, these are the things I teach my students, how to master the probable realities in the right order, with the right processes, how to trespass the threshold, that moment in which you are about to see miracles, but may vacillate and experience a so-called negative outcome, because you gave more power to what is, or to the way things should be, instead of giving all power to your infinite consciousness. I know from experience that, returning to my example, if I had given power, like most people would do, to anger at whoever stole my package, to the shipping company, to the usually long process of claiming a refund for a stolen item purchased from Amazon, I would not have jumped into a reality in which I had the product in my hands within 2 days, with an extra free bottle, double the value I paid for. No hassles, no waiting, no back and forth emails, no red tapes or bureaucracy. Just an instant doorway that eliminated the processes that all people have to go through in their version of their reality, which is not mine. I live in a totally different reality than you do. So, your reality will change only when your inner state and reactions are different. Even if the out there seems to be looking the same, you will never ever see a different out there until you are operating from a parallel self with different reactions and feelings, which are compatible with the parallel you truly wish to jump into. Clear? And this principle applies to everything, big and small. I could spend hundreds of hours talking to you about amazing things like this. Things that have happened to me and my students all over the planet. It includes erasing pain in minutes, fixing electronic devices out of the blue, receiving unexpected money, or starting a prosperous business, meeting someone special in a very unexpected way, etc., etc., etc. All this easily and effortlessly, as it should be when you are fully harmonized with your version of reality. So, what do you choose? To keep on struggling? To desperately see the years pass by until you decide to truly transform? What are you waiting for? You already have the info you have been asking for available through me and some other true metaphysical masters. If you wish to jump in the boat, I'm waiting to show you how deep the rabbit hole really goes. But you must follow the white rabbit. It must make sense to you. It must resonate with you. Please review this video. Watch it a few times more. Each time you watch it, you may get a little more out of it. And if you want to dive very deep into the twilight zone, into the rabbit hole, take a look at my website, risk-free. It is www.truemetaphysics.com to learn how you can become my student, 100% risk-free, never ever paying in advance for anything, for any lesson. Alright? So, I hope this video was enlightening to you, that helped you realize something new, and I know a part of you is resonating with this, otherwise you wouldn't even be here listening to my talk at this point. Okay? So you have a great day, and may the force be with you always.